Jai Hind. My name is Babita. I am assistant professor in MCA department at Akgec Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So today in the lecture series of computer network, we are going to start another lecture. So today the topic is a three-way handshaking protocol. As you know that this is the main, we can say TCP/IP protocol is a very important protocol because it ensures the reliability and the security in a transmission. So that's why how the TCP protocol is work in the network. Let's discuss here and let's get started with this topic. So in this lecture series on the completion, learner definitely will learn about the TCP/IP protocol, and here we little bit discuss about the type of connection, and next we will talk about the way of connection establishment. That means how the connections established on the network that will be defined here, and we will discuss here. And next we will talk about the process. That means how actually we realize a connection connected with another party. Yeah, we can say whenever we transmit the data between the sender and receiver, then how the sender and receiver connect to each other. Let's get discuss here, right? At the last, we will talk about the some application areas where we use the three-way handshaking protocol, three-way handshaking connection, right? So start here. So in the previous lectures, we will talk about some how the network work and how the network connected to each other, and what are the different kind of devices help to make the connection between the networks, and we will talk about lots of things when we work on the network. So basically, if I'm talking about the main importance of the network, we can say the internet. So it is fulfilled by the TCP/IP protocol. So basically, when we will talk about the network or internet, that means we ensure the how we secure and how we reliably transmit the data between the sender and receiver. So basically, here we have a two type of connection in which we are talking connection less protocol and connection oriented protocol. In a connection less protocol, we have a no particular route to transmit the data. But if I'm talking about the connection oriented protocols, so basically we will talk about the TCP/IP protocols. Basically TCP protocol, because TCP protocol is the connection oriented protocol and it ensure the transmission more reliable and more secure. That's why we will work on this particular protocols, right? So TCP model is a fundamental framework for the computer networking, as we discussed in the previous videos, and a transmission control protocol, or we can say the internet protocol, right? And which are the core protocols of the internet. In this model, how the data is transmitted over the network, we will discuss and we will learn. That means I want to saying here how we can ensure the data is more secure or reliable when we transmit on the internet. As you know that internet is a open source and anyone can access anytime, anywhere. So basically we are not sure about our data is secure. But if I'm working with the TCP protocols, then definitely we will sure about our data is more secure and reliable. So TCP provide a process to process communication using port number. So basically, if I'm talking about when we transmit a data, we have a sender, right, and we have a receiver. So basically these are the device. I'm saying here these are the device A and device B. But if I want to share the data on one application to another application, so how can we ensure this? because as you know, in this system, there is the possibility you have a more than one processes, like you are working a more than one processes. Same here, you also have a more than one processes. So how can you ensure your transmission definitely with this particular process? So if I want to sure I sharing the data only between these processes. So basically, how can we done this? We will done it with the help of TCP protocol. So this is the concept, and achieve to this surety and achieve to this reliability between two applications or between two processes. We will talk about the three-way handshaking, because in the three-way handshaking we firstly make sure between the sender and receiver कि वो दोनों अवेलेबल हैं या नहीं है. If you want to make the connection between both, that then definitely you ensure your receiver is prepared for accepting data or not. So this is the concept of three-way handshaking. How it works, let's get discuss here. So types of connection, as you know that in a three-way in a TCP connection we have two approaches. We will work with the three-way connection approach and we will work on four-way connection approach, right? But here we only discuss the three-way handshaking protocol or three-way handshaking connection process, right? So in a three-way handshaking is a fundamental process that establishes a reliable connection between the two devices. Here we have a device A and device B, and both device wants to communicate with each other. But how make sure that their communication is more reliable or secure? So basically for this particular point we will work. In a three-way handshake process, the three TCP segments are exchanged between the sender and receiver to establish a reliable and secure connection. So basically what happened here, if this sender, basically we are considered as a client and this is a server, and client wants to communicate with the server. So firstly client inform the server कि I want to communicate with you definitely. So firstly it inform the server I want to make the connection between us. Then server receive the message of the client and it also ensure कि I am free या I am available for the communication. So basically it acknowledge by sending a message packet. As you know, TCP is working in a segment form. In a data link layer we will discuss the all message or all information is divided into the small packets. But if I am talking about the TCP work on a segment, and segment is nothing but it is a structure in which we have some information, like we have the source address, we have the destination address, we have some sequence numbers, because when the all segments travel on the network, then how we can rearrange in a proper order by using sequence number, right? And we have some acknowledgement in the case you lost some packets, you lost some segments, then how we recover these segments. So by retransmitting, and retransmission, for retransmission you have to acknowledge from the receiver कि मुझे डेटा मीन्स रिसीव नहीं हुआ है या हो गया है. तो दिस पर्टिकुलर इंफॉर्मेशन इज गिवन बाय द रिसीवर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एक्नॉलेजमेंट. ठीक है. एंड नेक्स्ट, so basically what we will discuss here, we will discuss how client and server communicate with each other. So basically in this approach we have follow three steps. First step is establishing a connection between the sender and we can say between the client and server. Next, when both are communicating with each other by sending a request message and by sending a acknowledge message. That means they are agreed for communicating. So connection is established. Yeah, we can say here at this stage the connection is established. That means they both are sure about the communication. And last one is when the connection is established, then you can transmit the data, and after transmission you can release the connection, because if you are not releasing the connection, this is not usable for further uses. So that's why we have to release after finishing the transmission. So how it works, let's get discussed here. So basically we will follow the 3 major steps in which we synchronize between the client and the server, and after that we issue some message like synchronous message and acknowledgement. This is the both combination of establishment and acknowledgement. How it work, let's get discussed. So firstly, if suppose this is the client and this is a server. Firstly, when client wants to communicate with the server, it issues a request message, and this request message we can say ये जो हमारा रिक्वेस्ट मैसेज है ये इंस्ट्रक्ट करता है किसको, सर्वर को, कि आई वांट टू communicate with you. So basically this particular message is considered as a sync message, and this message yeah, we can say this is the flags. In the TCP segment we have a 6 type of flags, in which sync flag is used to inform the server, that means client want to communicate with server, right? So sync message always issued when client wants to connection between the server. So basically this sync message contain a sequence random number. We will select a random number, and this random number is considered as a sequence number, right? So suppose sequence number is a n. So basically it received by the server, and then server, if server is available, then it definitely acknowledges the client by using the sequence number and acknowledgement number. Sequence number is means select by the server randomly, but acknowledgement number always one higher of the client sequence number, right? And after receiving the acknowledgement from the server side, then client again sends a acknowledgement number, acknowledgement to server by using the sequence number of the acknowledged, right? So this is the process. So for ensuring that both communication devices are ready and capable of engaging in a secure communication, 3 steps are going to performed in the 3-way handshaking mechanism. So first is, for example, हम इसको समझ लेते हैं. पहला step यानी कि first step, in this first step the client establishes a connection with the server. It sends a segments with sync and inform the server about the client. It should be start, it denote the start of the communication. That means clients here initiate the communication between the server, sender and server, and with the what should be its a sequence number. That means this sync message always contain a sequence number, and this sequence number is selected by the client by select randomly by the client. Next step, in this server responds to the client by acknowledging the request which is sent by the client, right? So what is the sent by the client? This is the sync message, and this sync message is acknowledged by the server by sending another message. But in this message another sequence number is selected by the server randomly but acknowledge the previous sync number. Suppose here the sync number is 2000, sorry, sequence number is 2000, then the acknowledgement given by the server always higher 1, right? Yes. So basically acknowledge helps you to signify a response of segment that is received by the server, and sync signifies what sequence number it should be able to start with the segment. Next step, after the connection established, in this final step the client acknowledged the response of the server and they both are create a stable connection between us and will begin the actual data transmission process. So this is the process how the TCP work and how three-way connection established. These are 3 steps performed every time whenever a client or server communicate with each other, right? So this is the main functionality. After that we will talk about the transmission. When a connection is established, both parties and both client and server are agreed on the transmission, then you can transmit the data. So three-way connection or three-way handshaking ensure that both devices are agreement about the initial sequence number and signaling their readiness for reliable communication. When a connection is established, this is the foundation of the data integrity, and you can say your data is more secure between the communicating device. Just to suppose you have a particular path and this path is fully connected between both parties, then you definitely sure about your transmission is more secure. But in the case of TCP, connectionless protocol, you are not sure about your transmission, your data is received by the receiver securely, because there is a no connected path. The data is traveling on the network freely. There is a no specific path, there is a no means connecting path, right? So that's why this particular approach is useful for more reliable and secure transmission. The process is crucial aspect of the TCP protocol because it contributes to the robustness and reliability of data exchange on the internet. So this is the main use. Next, after finishing and after the completion of data transmission, definitely you have to release your connection, because if you are not releasing the connection is stable, or you are more other devices not use this particular connection for further uses. So these 3 steps involves in terminating in the same way as we perform in the connection at the time of connecting between the sender and receiver. So in the same way we releasing the connection. So basically when we want to connection, we use the sync flag, right? But if I want to release the connection, we use a fin flag, and this fin flag is used for finish, right? As we discussed in the TCP segment, here we have some other type of signals. So basically only 4 signals we will use here when we want to connection establish and release: sync and acknowledgement, fin and acknowledgement, right? So when you want to release your connection, definitely you send a fin signal to the server, and the server receive this particular signal and make sure you also disconnect the connection. It transmit a message to the server with a random sequence number in the same way as we performed in the establishment of the connection, and set the fin flag to 1. which flag we are using for performing the task, we activate by value 1, and which is not used, we set the value as a 0. So basically when client send the fin signal, it set to 1, and you are not here client not using the acknowledgement, that's why it set to 0. So next step, the server responds with the fin flag message and acknowledgement, acknowledge to this fin message with finish acknowledgement message. So basically when server is respond to the client, it always respond with a 2 flag message, in which we have a first fin message and second one is acknowledgement. Fin, that make sure server receive this particular request, and acknowledgement, that means this also wants to disconnect the connection, right? Then acknowledgement number is a 1 higher than the sequence number which is sent by the client. If client sent a 1000 number to the server, then server acknowledgement with 1 higher, that means 1001. If server also decide to terminate the connection, set the fin flag to 1 and transmit it to the client. So basically as we discussed, as we told you which particular flag we are using to perform the task, we set it as a 1, and which are not using, we set as a 0, right? Last step, the client sends the acknowledge message to the server, and the client will set acknowledge flag to 1, and after receiving fin from the server, the transmission of the within the acknowledgement number 1 greater than the server's fin sequence number. So basically how you disconnect the connection between the client and server. So this is the process of 3-way handshaking. As you we can say, we will take a real life example. If you want to send a message to the another person, definitely you instruct him to communicating first of all. So just it is similar to when you want to talk to another person, you definitely hi, hello and initiate the handshake process, right? So that means इसका मतलब क्या होता है कि जैसे ही आपने अपना हैंडशेक प्रोसेस स्टार्ट किया, तो सामने वाला आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन को रिसीव करने के लिए रेडी हो जाता है, एंड देन यू कैन कम्युनिकेट with each other, and after the communication is finished, the sender the client or server both are disconnect the connection, right? So this is the process. Next we will talk about some application areas where we use the 3-way handshaking method. So first of all we are talking about web browsing. So web browsing, when you sharing information, when you accessing the information from the internet, you definitely perform the 3-way handshaking method, because first of all you start the Internet Explorer and you click on the Google search engine, and this particular information, that means whenever you want to connect a server, you perform some steps like you you log in by using ID and password. So basically this is nothing but it is the 3-way handshaking process. So commonly used in a web browsing, when a client connect to a web server, and the handshake ensure the reliable communication between the client and server, and for transferring web pages, images and other documents to the client. Next we will talk about the file transfer. When you are using, when you are performing the file transfer between the client and server, definitely you are using the concept of 3-way handshaking, because file transfer protocol, also called as a FTP protocol, and SFTP यानी कि secure file transfer protocol use the 3-way handshaking method, because first of all you make the connection between the sender and receiver. Just for an example, you have a file, firstly you instruct the receiver to send the data, and receiver are available on that same time, and they transferring the files each other, right? Next we will talk about the email communication. So basically email protocol also we will call as a SMTP, yani ki simple mail transfer protocol. These also use the concept of three-way handshaking, because the connection is established first before transferring the data between the client and server. Why we were performing this particular, as we already learn about it, because we want to make sure our data is more reliable and secure. So basically this is the main purpose. That's why we are using this concept, because we want only and only our data is secure and reliable when transferring, when the data traveling on the internet. Next we will talk about the data connections. So basically in the database applications, three-way handshaking method also used there, because the first connection is established between the client and the database server to ensure the reliability and order transfer of the data. How can you understand this particular concept? Just suppose our college database. So not permittable for any every person. So basically here we have some authorized person who access the college database. So basically those persons who have the authorizations to access the college database, they want first make a connection between the database server and the client system, right? So basically this is the main concept of the three-way handshaking. So this video lecture is more important for the MCA student, and yeah, we can say those are students preparing for university exams in IT sector or CSC sector. So basically this is also important for the competition exams who are preparing for UGC NET and GATE also. So thank you so much.